Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's resume our complete beginner's guide to foundation, shall we? So we're trying to encourage immigration so we can get some more folk here. And to do that, we need to raise our happiness. If your happiness is 75 or better, I believe people will come and visit and want to live here. And our happiness is not quite there. So it's going to be there, though. I'll unpause it. Once the rustic food demand gets met, and the housing demand and the water demand. So there is water. Somebody just needs to get a drink. And there is housing. Somebody just needs to move in. It takes time for all of those things sometimes to clear out. And we'll just kind of wait here for a moment and see what's going on in our village. We could click here and we have 15 cloth. We have 36 tools. She's loading up the market, just like so. Is there anything that we can build that we have not yet built? No. So we're already up to now 63. And you could see the housing and the water have cleared out because those are taken care of. And it'll just be a second for all of the villagers to come like she is and get some rustic food for herself at the market. So once they all come over, the forester wants some. You can see we're at 68%. I could just push plus to speed it up. By the way, I think I explained that. But you can just push plus and minus on the numpad to speed things up. Or you can push plus and minus next to the backspace key by the numbers, whichever you want. And we're at 73. So once the last person comes over to get themselves some rustic food, there we go. We did it. I'm going to zoom out and, oh, okay, they want to talk to us. Profiting from trade. A business-minded villager proposes creating a trade route with your closest neighbor, Northbury, to sell resources for profit and obtain items that cannot be produced locally. Northbury needs planks, so you should start with those. Okay, so let's put the advice into practice. So we're going to need to get storage, build a warehouse, and produce planks, which we're not doing. So this is a lot. Unlocking buildings. Some buildings are not available at the start of the game. You'll need to unlock them from the progression screen. Unlocking them requires you to reach their tier, which might require a certain number of prosperity and estate splendor. Once there, you must pay a certain amount of coins or influence to unlock them for your village. Okay. So this is the major tech tree in the game, and we've also just received this building here. So to get to the screen that they hinted at there, you click on the progression tab. Now this will fill up as we get more currency to earn for progression, but right now we have prosperity. If I click on this, it opens up the common path. There are more trees than the common path, but this is all we see at the moment. At the first tier here, there is storage, fishing, wooden bridge, and fence, and these cost 25 coins to unlock. We have 395 coins, so we could get all of these, but in my opinion, as you're playing along with the tutorial that the game gives you, I made the mistake in my first attempt of kind of like thinking I knew what I was doing and buying a little bit more ahead of time, trying to, do things in advance, and it didn't pan out the way I wanted. I ended up spending too much money and then having to wait to make money. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but I'm going to tell you that this 395 coins that we start with is great, but it's going to take us quite a bit of progress in the game to actually start turning a consistent profit. So we don't want to be crazy with our spending. I'm going to buy this storage, and you see we now get the warehouse and the granary. I'm going to right-click to get rid of this, and you can right-click the progression menu to get rid of that as well, or click the X in the upper right corner. And now we've acquired storage. So let's go to build. And we have 3 new structures that we can build. They're denoted by the badge with the exclamation point in the upper right, which is a granary for storing food. So our berries, for example. A warehouse, which stores raw materials, goods, luxury types. So right now we're just producing logs and eventually planks and stone that we could store there. And then the sawmill, which is how we actually make planks. So at the sawmill, they turn wood into planks. All right, so we need to make all of these things. Now here is my advice. Let's think about the logistics of exactly what we want to have happen by starting with the warehouse. So the warehouse is going to store our wood, which is going to be needed by any builder and people who are at the sawmill. So we need to kind of think about positioning this in a place that is close to where these different labors are going to happen. And the builders are here, and they'll kind of take them as they will. And then this is where they're cutting the wood from, and then they'll take the wood, the logs from the wood cutting camp, and then move it over here to our warehouse. And you'll notice the warehouse does not produce any noise, so it's okay to put it right up next to the residential area. And I'm going to kind of rotate it like this, and I'm going to move it. Now I'm going to probably destroy this berry bush that's right there, and that's okay with me. I'm not too worried about it. In some games, you know, the berry bushes and things like that are vital. You don't want to make any wild maneuvers like that. But in this situation, we have plenty of berries. Now, you'll notice there's an arrow right here, so I do want to kind of make sure that there's plenty of space for people to access this warehouse from all sides if need be. And I can even rotate this a little bit like this, and that looks pretty good. So I'm going to build that right there. And then the next thing we need to build would be the sawmill, I suppose. Now this does make noise, and it makes a lot of noise. So we're actually going to kind of put this back here away from all of our housing. And it's okay if the noise goes outside your territory, but I want to make sure it's close enough to the sawmill. And let's see here. This is the forester's hut, so it's okay if it gets a little bit noisy. And remember, even though the noise pollution, like I could put it here and it wouldn't cause a problem for this house. It's just if it touches the house. You see how if the brown actually touches the house, then the house kind of turns orange, meaning like I'm affected. But if it's in their yard, it's okay. So I'm going to put this right over here, close to the warehouse and the logging camp itself. Okay, we'll build it. Very good. And then we can also build a granary if we want to start storing food. And this is not a bad idea. We could put it, you know, in the middle of town so that it's close by, but we could also just put it perhaps right here. Now, you don't have to build this if you don't want, but I'll show you in a moment. I'm fine with this location. This can only hold 50 berries, and this can hold 30. We're consuming 10 per week. So it's going to be important for us to start storing food anyway. So I'm just building all of the buildings that we can, and I'm going to unpause it. We have 3 projects. We have 3 builders. At least I think we do. No, we only have 2 builders. That's okay. They'll get it done. Oh, and this is worth mentioning. So, you'll notice, in my experience, they usually build things in the order that you queue them up. But if you want to bump up the priority of something, you can click on this little arrow next to the progress bar that says prioritize construction, so that they'll like focus on building that. And you can even pause construction if you queue up a bunch of projects and you're like, you know what, I just want this one thing to be built. You can pause everything else and prioritize what you want, and that should do the trick. But again, you can only have one builder per project, so. I'm going to zoom out and see. Yep, here we go. We do have some immigrants coming. Villager path blocked. Okay, let's see what... we must have built something in the wrong place. So let's figure out what it is that's blocking. So if you get this warning, you can click on it, and it says sphere could not reach destination, and you could click on them to see where are they. They are the forager. Oh, okay. So they couldn't reach the destination, which was probably this berry bush, and they'll just go to a different one. There's berry bushes over here. Now, you can right-click to get rid of that. You can see there's actually a berry bush here, 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 here. So, there's plenty. Now, let's just say, though, that you didn't like that. You can, once this is built, move it. But I'm okay with it. We'll just keep right-clicking this, and that person will get confused for a moment. If you wanted to, I suppose, you could, like, forbid the area, but I'm not going to go to that extent. You can make the brush really small, maybe, and forbid it. Here we go. So, you'll get used to this, but as your happiness stabilizes and, you know, is 75, or I think it's 75 or higher. It might be slightly lower than that, but it needs to be high for people to, you know, be attracted to your settlement. And you can zoom out and kind of see where people are on the map, and they'll make their way to you. Also, traders and stuff, once you open routes, and merchants and visitors from the clergy or the local government will come visit you. And once these people get their goal is the town center, once they get there, then this will appear above them. And you see how there's a wheel. This is how much time they'll wait to be brought into the village. Now, there's different philosophies on how people accept villagers. I tend to accept most people. Like 95% of the time, I will take people. The only time I don't take people is if I just have too many unemployed people and it's not feasible at the moment to fit them in. I don't have any space for them to live and jobs for them to do. So sometimes that does happen, but most of the time I tend to accept every single person. So we're going to click on their circle and they move in. Immediately, you'll notice our total population has gone up to 12 and we have 2 unemployed people. So we need to give them jobs. I don't know if they've told us about... We don't even have the royal book. Okay, so there's easier ways to manage labor when we get a little bit further. But for now, what we can do is just say, okay, well, we can click around and just take a look at the different jobs and where we can give these people work. But also, somebody's going to need to work at the warehouse, so I can actually queue somebody up to work here, even though this isn't done. And you'll notice the warehouse actually can't be done because you have to have planks to build the warehouse. So we're going to remove the worker from this, and we're going to prioritize the construction of the sawmill. Now, while this labor is happening, I can just temporarily say, you know what, why don't I have somebody collect berries, and then somebody collect stone. We can take them off of this job later. They'll get a little bit of experience, but that's not a big deal. All right. Villager path blocked. It is, again, this guy trying to get his berries. It's sad, buddy. I know. Now, we have 2 people who are unemployed. Oh, well, I guess it will give you some partial look at the... It's interesting how the game kind of gates some of the, even the UI elements like the Royal Book. But if you click on the unemployment, you can see a breakdown of all your villagers and the jobs that they're doing. And this is kind of like their happiness, and this is his problem that he had, and this is where everybody is. So, actually, everybody does have a job. They just have to go get to it. They're just relaxing on free time. There, it cleared. It just takes a while sometimes for it to clear. Okay. This is telling you your immigration rate, by the way, like where it's at. So, yeah, you know what? Don't listen to me. I thought you had to have above 75 to get people to move in, because that's the number they want you to hit for the tutorial. But I think just in general, if it's above 50, you have a chance. But the higher it is, the more frequent and the bigger the groups of people. So in 3 days, people are coming in to come visit, and employment is a factor as well. So even though we've dipped to 71%, that does not preclude new people from coming in. All right. Now, what is their... They're upset because of housing, but honestly, that will be fixed very soon once the builders give them a house, which they will do, if they haven't yet done so already. We're low on lumber. Here it goes. Almost done. So we have a lot of food. And stone is not great, but that's okay. No berries consumed this week. Incredible. So we are waiting for the stone that has just been produced. And you can see the guy is carrying it. He's going to bring it over here and finish this. There we go. We could speed it up one more. Got it. All right. So I'm going to actually... Now we need to put people on this job. And I'm going to take away, right away, a berry picker and put them on carpentry. And we need planks pretty quickly to build this warehouse. So you could see, like, well, what else do we have? And honestly, we're okay on berries. But we might be able to even peel somebody off of berries if we wanted. We could also just take somebody off of lumber and then put somebody over here to carpentry like so. The granary is actually able to be built without planks. Just needs a little stone. And look, already, more people coming in. We're back to 75. And then 75 takes us to high immigration. So, employment is a gauge of like how many free jobs we have for people, right? So we have all of these jobs that people can do. And so we're going to immediately accept these people. I'm going to put one person into the carpenter, and I'm going to put the other person over here as a woodcutter. Excellent. Those are jobs that we need right away. So here's our monthly report, and all of our money has gone down from construction, which is no problem, as to be expected. Okay. So they are making us some planks, and we can look in the internal storage here. They have a whole bunch of wood that they are now going to start making into planks, and we need 15 to finish the warehouse. So you can see they're going to bring the planks that they have over there, and the granary is finished. So now we can put somebody on this job. And if I was going to put anybody on there, I'm going to take away one person from the gathering hut and put somebody here. Now, inside the granary, okay, I have the granary selected, and this window on the right shows the granary. It can hold 4 people. And it has a capacity currently of 400 resources, and it can hold 4 types of resources. So what we want to do is click here, and then where it says assign resource, and click berries. Now, all that's shown is berries, because that's all that can be stored here. But as we get more food types, this will fill in. And then we just say berries, and they will start moving berries into the granary. This will just provide us with some more storage. And, you know, our happiness went down a little bit because we need housing, but as soon as the builder gets cracking, we'll have some housing. So you can see there's 28 berries in here. They're taking all this berries out of the internal storage from the gathering hut. And then the market stall worker will come here to get the berries. Alright, we're looking good. We've got planks coming out, trees going down, trees getting replanted. And here's some new immigrants coming in from over here. Wonderful. All right. The warehouse is actually done, and I'm going to click on the warehouse, and you see how the quest wants us to assign planks. So I'm going to assign several resources, actually. We're going to assign planks. We're going to assign wood. And now we get the Royal Book. You now have access to the Royal Book. The Royal Book contains useful information and various features like the capability to establish trade routes with your neighbors. Got it. I'm going to assign stone, and I'm going to assign cloth currently. So the only resource that we have that's not in the warehouse would be tools, and all of our tools are currently here in the village center. Now, nobody's working at the warehouse, but that's okay because in a moment... Oh, we've got 4 people who want to come live here. And like I said, it gets, it's random, but it gets higher the more desirable your area is, the more jobs that you have available. And we need all of these people. So before I plan the trade route, I'm going to bring all these folk in. I'm going to take them all. And let's just look at the Royal Book. This is kind of a nice way to do labor as well. So if I open the Royal Book, you'll see that it has all these different tabs, and it defaults to this Villager tab, which is nice. You can see what everybody is doing. You can click on any of them to see where they are, follow them around. You could see where they live. You could see where their workplace is by clicking on these buttons. You can see what their job is, and you could even select jobs from this list. But I actually like this screen for buildings. It's one tab to the right of the Villager tab, because this shows you all of the buildings you have and how many free jobs are at that place. And you can assign people here very easily. So just by clicking the plus button, then now somebody is working as a transporter. I'd like another miner. I'd like another forager. And I have 2 more workers. I'm honestly going to go with another forager and a builder. Oh, I must have assigned everybody. Okay. There we go. So we now are topped off on most of these structures except for transporters at the markets and the granary and the warehouse, but that's okay. We'll get them. And I'm going to just kind of slow it down, unpause the game. And now we need to open a trade route. So let's go back to the Royal Book. And you'll see here that these green tabs, they're kind of color-coded. And moving away from the villager stuff over here to the trade route, these scales, from here you could see the available trade routes that we can get. And the only feasible trade route for us right now, we can't make clothing, we can't make bread, we don't have any labor influence or the citadel or the government influence, and we don't have any clergy influence. So I said those in the reverse order of where they're listed here, but we can't unlock anything except this Northbury one, but we need 20 planks to unlock the trade route. And we have 9 right now, so we're going to be fine. I'll speed it up. Now, this is what's going on with Northbury. If we unlock a trade route with Northbury, we can buy any of these items from them for this amount of coin, or we can sell these items to them for these amount of coin. So, for example, we can sell planks for 1 coin to them. We can also sell polished stone, which we can get pretty easily, or meat, which is feasible for us to acquire early in the game. So this is a great route because we can buy tools to top off our tools, because we're going to need that. We can't produce our own tools yet. And we can also buy cloth and even food if we needed it. So in order to get that, we need planks, which we're getting. We're still at 70%. People are happy. They're going to take a second to... this house has to be built, for example, before they get really happy. And you can see our warehouse is indeed filling up. Here's all the cloth. Here's stone. Here's the planks. And now we have 20 planks exactly. So I'm going to go to the Royal Book. I'm going to go, and you can see how this button is now orange. I can unlock a trade route with Northbury. And once we've unlocked a trade route, what we need to do is go back to this green tab for goods. And from this tab, we can select what we will buy and sell. And this column on the left shows your inventory, what you have. And then over here, it shows what you're going to buy and sell. And the up arrow means I want to buy this, and the down arrow means I want to sell this. So planks, we want to sell them. But what we want to do is, right now we're selling everything above the value, and the value is actually 0. but I want to make sure I have some planks, so I'm going to sell everything above the value of 10, just to keep 10 planks permanently on hold. I might raise that up to 20, but for now, let's just keep it at 10. I don't want to sell all my planks every single time. So now, any planks I have above 10, I will sell. And I also want to buy tools. And I want to buy tools until the inventory reaches the value of 20. So I don't want to go below 20 tools. I want to make sure I have 20 tools. And I'm not going to buy or sell anything else at the moment. I'm okay with what we have, so I will close this up. And now there is another little quest here. To build a manor house. You've made great strides. Recently, a light-hearted woman recognizes your progress and thanks you on behalf of her folks for your hard work. To help manage the village and enact new mandates, she suggests building a manor house and a great hall. So this will be the next large project for us, which is to build a manor house and a great hall, to kind of put a small seat of government here for us as the steward of this area. And we built a granary, a warehouse, a sawmill, and opened up a trade route. And we're rocking and rolling. We're actually up to 18 people right now and sitting at 73 happiness, not doing too badly at all. Everyone, I hope you're still finding this guide series to be useful and fun and enjoying Foundation. I'll check you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Take care.